Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. Want to look back at the past weekend and discuss all of the motorsport action from this weekend? Want to talk about Formula 2 and Formula 3 from Zandvoort? Maybe IndyCar from Portland? World Rallycross from Latvia perhaps? Or maybe even some Euro Formula? If you really want to. Maybe you should subscribe now, just because. We do have 600 of you brilliant people now. Join in and let's get 750. With that, let's begin a look back at the past weekend of action. Scott McLaughlin is a god. What a dominant performance in Portland. One that keeps him in the championship contention. And remember, this is just his second season in IndyCar. He is a monster of a driver to transition from a completely different category of motorsport and come into a very competitive top of the line series like IndyCar. That really takes something. Fernando Alonso couldn't do it, Romain Grosjean has struggled, it took Marcus Ericsson a few years. I just want to underline what an achievement 2022 has been for Scott McLaughlin. This was the penultimate round of IndyCar 2022, and it was not the most thrilling IndyCar race ever. Once again, many of the title contenders were near the top of the field, but I do believe Pato O'Ward and Alex Palou are now too far away realistically to be in with a shot of the title come Laguna Seca. Will Power and Scott Dixon finished second and third, which is not a surprise, but what was shocking is how far Joseph Newgarden sunk, down to 8th. The fight going into the finale next weekend at Laguna Seca sees Will Power in the lead with 20 points over Scott Dixon and Joseph Newgarden, with Scott McLaughlin and Marcus Ericsson another 20 or so points behind. Hopefully we get a fun end of the season at Laguna Seca. Formula 2 from Zandvoort and a very dull sprint race. There was very little overtaking in this race, and apart from Theo Pourchaire running at the back, running wide and it being even more at the back, not much else of note happened. Ollie Caldwell and Tatiana Calderon both went off and the race was won by Marcus Armstrong, followed by Clements Novalak. Both Felipe Drugovich and Theo Pourchaire were out of the points, so this race was of little consequence. The feature race was much better. Logan Sargent went off twice on the first lap, the second time more off than the first, eventually bringing out the red flags. Under the safety car prior to the race stoppage, David Beckman and Roy Nissany got into a bit of a tiff and made contact. This has led Roy Nissany getting a race ban, meaning he'll spend the Monza round sitting on the sofa eating crisps and scoring as many points as if he was racing. After the restart, Marina Sato would lose a wheel and bring out the safety car, followed by total chaos that took out an impressive Jack Doohan, as well as Clement Novalak and Tatiana Calderon, as well as screwing over everyone who hadn't pitted, including Theo Pourchaire, who scored no points again, and with Felipe Drugovich taking the win, he now has a 69-point lead, going into the penultimate round at Monza this weekend. The title is almost his and still no links to a Formula 1 drive. Formula 3 was also at Zandvoort, and much like Formula 2, the sprint race was incredibly dull. Caio Collet and Juan Manuel Correa had a good fight, eventually with Collet taking the race win, and Sebastian Montoya ran well on his debut. Outside of Brad Benavides being spun around by Rafael Villagomez, nothing much happened. The feature race was again better. Victor Martins led early on. Brad Benavides crashed again, this time with William Alatolo, bringing out the safety car. Jack Crawford tried a little too hard at the restart and lost ground. Victor Martins has lost the lead to Zach Maloney, and his tyres were going off. Luckily, David Vidales broke down and brought out another safety car, and after that, Rafael Villagomez got a taste of his own medicine and was spun by Gregoire Saucy. Zane Maloney won with Martins second, other title contenders like Isaac Hadjar finishing 5th, Roman Stanek was 4th, and the Prema pair of Arthur Leclerc and Oliver Behrman were outside of the points. With the final round this weekend, mathematically 7 drivers can still be champion. Jack Crawford is probably too far away, but Arthur Leclerc, Oliver Behrman, Zane Maloney and Roman Stanek just need a little luck to go their way. As for Victor Martins and Isaac Hadjar, Martins only has a 5-point lead, so all to fight for at Monza. As for World Rallycross from Latvia, 2 rounds over 2 days and 2 wins for Johan Kristoffersson. Nothing really happened and it wasn't very interesting. Kristoffersson is unbeaten in the first 3 rounds and looks to be on his way to a 5th World Rallycross Championship. Finally, Euro Formula, and as much as I say I dislike World Rallycross having 8 cars, it's even worse for a single-seater race to only have 8 cars. But that was the case for Euro Formula at Imola. This series is so going to fold. It doesn't need to exist, not with Formula Regional European existing. So much for this being a Frederick Lubin fan channel, nothing interesting enough happens to talk about. So with all that action, what was your race of the weekend? For me, it was probably the second Formula 2 race, the feature race. That at least had quite a lot going on. Next weekend we have the final round of Indycar from Laguna Seca, Formula 1 from Monza, the penultimate round of Formula 2 and the final round of Formula 3, also both from Monza, DTM from Spa, Supercars from Australia, World Rally Championship from Greece and the World Endurance Championship from Fiji. That is a packed weekend of action, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching and have a good one.